Howdy y'all, Los here. Welcome to another episode of Bonsai-YEAH. We're joined once again with Hawkeye Bonsai's very own Brandon Baldauf. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, excited. We're gonna work on this nice tree.
I'm super excited.
It's a bald cypress.
A bald cypress. What's the scientific name?
Oh gosh, it's a taxodium.
Taxodium.
Beyond that, I'm not sure.
That's all right, it's gonna be on the screen.
Right
The name will
here.
be. The idea is that we're going to put this on a slab, which I've never done. So this is gonna be new. We've done repotting on this show, plenty of repots, but repotting to a slab, what in the world is that? So
Takes it to a whole nother level, yeah.
Yeah, and also I've had this for about a year. I'll pop up the picture of it when it was, when I first got it, and it had none of this. And this was a tiny little nothing. And now it 2 feet of growth in a whole year. It's absolutely crazy.
In a tiny container too.
We were talking about design about this, what we wanted to kind of accomplish.
Across the board, like we want to think through the overall size and proportions of the trees and the bonsai that we're creating here.
Absolutely.
So think through, what's the nabari, what's the line, the movement through the trunk, where are the branches distributed, and all of those different variables kind of like account for what we can do and then what we want to do in order for this specific tree to like reach its maximum potential as a bonsai. Yeah, we really want it to be impactful. Like someone takes it in, and whenever they see it, they have like a triggered memory, and they're thinking back towards a time when maybe they were at the Frio River, floating the Guadalupe. Just kind of one of those moments,
dude,
on a
that's
tube,
exactly right.
just hanging out, and you see the bald cypress on the side of the river.
Chilling there in your tube, legs up out of the water, butts in the water. You're just sitting in the tube, and you're drifting by these massive buttresses, just sweeping up out of the water.
Roots just crawling everywhere, holding onto the rocks.
That's sort of what I had in mind with this thing. I wanted it to sort of look like it's off the riverside a bit, and it's got erosion in the roots. At least you see it's washed away a lot of the soil, and the roots are now exposed. At first I didn't like the roots, and I thought it looked kind of weird, but with the proper composition in the proper landscape and around it, I think it's gonna look mighty fine. And I'm excited to try it all. And you brought a slab.
Yeah, limestone rock slab. It's very heavy, so it's a little bit
right
heavy.
here. Trust, we'll put it up here.
Trust us, it's here.
We got it, okay. And then you've brought some muck, and we've got moss and some rock, and I have one more little baby cypress, so maybe we add it to the rock like mother and cub. Although it's sort of weird to have two, right, in a
Oh no, it's a pairing. They'll be real close by, so we can include them together. Yeah, it'll be fine. We'll end up moving the branches around and doing some cutting and trimming to basically like put some age and character to this specific specimen, and then whenever we figure out what we want to do, we'll put it on the slab. The specific slab has it's got a long, narrow presence, and towards the edge, we think that this will fit better on like one side. So then we're thinking through like how we want to actually use the branching to kind of maybe lean over and fill out the rest of that.
Yeah,
so
and that was a brilliant idea too.
A guy wire on that is kind of this like the technique that we'll use to pull that down. So we'll like wrap it up with
I think a lot of people out there want to know, and I do want to know this. Are we talking, is it G-U-Y, like guy, like a guy, like not a woman, but a guy wire? Or is it a guide wire?
Oh.
Like it helps guide the movement.
Sure. Guy. I have always used guy wire.
Like G-U-I or something in like Japanese?
No, like straight up a guy wire. G-U-Y. I have no idea. This is what I asked that question to Joey Bonsai, who is from Austin. He's a longtime practitioner. I asked him that same question. He said, guy. It's like a guy, a little guy just hanging out, pulling the wire down. That's how I'm going to think about it.
Well, in this day and age, 2021, well, 2022 now, I think it's time we call it a gal wire.
Oh!
We're going to call this a gal wire.
Right, you got to,
gal wire. Which means also if we're going to bend this down a bit, we've got a branch that contends with that, and we'll have to deal with that.
There's other options too though, right? Instead of keeping it like kind of taller, we could definitely like cut it back really hard here and remove this extra branch, and then you'd have like a stout little more traditional bonsai.
Which is what it looked like when I got it. It literally did not have this guy. So that is definitely not a bad idea either.
But if we're going for the feeling of being at the river, then you don't see these little stout, just like nice, like fluffy cones.
You don't know where
these
they end.
Sprawling
You
longers.
don't know where they begin.
Yes.
So
exactly.
yeah, I think we got to keep a lot of the height and cut it maybe just a little. I mean, we'll keep 6 inches of new growth off of that one. Definitely incorporating this nice long end and sweep them over, mixing with that slab being so big. And I think we've got a good idea of what we're going to do to this, right?
Yeah. So we'll work on the top. We'll put all the branches where we want them, and then we'll start working on the roots. Then we'll bust the slab out and start to like kind of put the rocks where we think they'll fit best. And once we're there, put it all together.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, well, there's only one way to it, and it's to do it. Let's clean.
Sweet.
All right. Cleaning montage.
Yeah.
What are you doing here? You're
Just kind of measuring. Yeah, gonna see how long that is, and then so we can basically use that wire to go across the length of that, and then we'll bind this branch to another branch. All right, so then it'll be roughly this long.
Now, do you want me to go under the armpit or on its shoulder?
Yeah, let's go above it.
You want to go shoulder? Yeah. We're going shoulder, boys. On there too tight, just knowing how much this will. Do you think it'll set by the time it starts budding out?
Oh, how long? I mean, one full grow season will allow it for the branch to like lignify and harden in the position that we set it in. So
we wouldn't want to keep this on all year long.
Probably not. No, as soon as it starts to bite, like as soon as the wire is starting to bite into the branch, it should be set.
You got to keep our eye on it. We won't start seeing any of that till after spring, until we see plenty of foliage on this. All right. Now, anyways, we want to find a good root. I suppose. What do you think about this one here?
As long as you feel like it's got some good like strength into it, and you can wrap around a couple roots.
So I guess I will take that, and we'll just. I guess it's probably easier to put this through. Get it in.
I can find a little spot in there and then feed that through.
Gotcha.
And there's two different ways that you can do guy wires. The way that we're doing it now, like you can close this section and then close that section and have one string or one wire connecting it, or you can like connect them and then pull it tight through two.
I'm all on board here.
Either way, it's...
So we want to find a nice spot where we can start, and then we can tighten up the wire. So, taking the slack off, coiling it up. The same way we're good. Here, Brent. We could have used copper too, right?
This will work.
I don't get a lot of opportunities to use copper, and I have a bunch of it, so let's go ahead and use that eventually.
When we can, right?
Yeah. It's not cheap. It is definitely not cheap. We are still going.
And just feeling for it to make sure it's not gonna...
You're feeling for it. You got to listen to it, feel it. It's like an old car. Take it to the mechanic again. Gotta give it another.
Let's see how that looks. Let's take a look. So this was straight up.
Wow.
Now it's way out to the sun.
Kind of cool, man.
Pretty cool.
More than kind of cool.
And then we'll pitch this up.
Go ahead and turn that to the camera while you do that.
Oh, sure, yeah. We'll pitch it this way.
You can just hear the bark. You see it shaving off a bit here, but that's cool. It's gonna be just fine. It's all green. Yeah. Crazy.
So now we have a lot more volume.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's a solid positioning for that one. This is really straight in through there, so you know, theoretically somehow you want to have that be less straight, just because of like how there's not a lot of taper and it's very straight. So like, you know, that will draw your eye. Your eye will get drawn towards that.
You're right. What should we do?
It's like, I'm not sure exactly what we would do to solve it. Like, you could theoretically like try to bend it, you know, in this direction. But what's going to be important is that whenever we place it on the slab, is to not have that just feel like it's super flat. Like, you can have it going slightly away, directionally away. Like, from the viewer's perspective here, like if it's flush and flat against that, then it's very noticeable. But then if you like pitch it this way, now it has like directionality moving away from you as well, instead of just like parallel or perpendicular.
It's cool. It's gnarly. So far, so good.
Now that this branch is here, we will like clip back on these to kind of give that all the secondary branches. That's like right. Order.
I forgot we needed to do that first to know where we were going here. All right, we just got these washed out, this tree washed out, and we see a beautiful tree emerging out of here, a beautiful bonsai. It is starting to happen. I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, that buttress down there, like after you got all the soil out of the way, there's some really nice taper that starts when you get to the core base roots.
It's quite lovely. All right, so what's next? What are we doing here? Are we gonna?
Yeah, we're gonna build a composition. We're gonna put the rocks around the tree, and we'll build a muck wall. And we'll essentially start planting this together. We found a number of roots that we cut off underneath, so we'll actually weave these in and expose those, and those will turn into trees.
They will. I hope they do. Wonderful. And then there's a few more. I think we'll probably get one or two out of here, like maybe this guy or something. We can get a couple of them out.
Yeah, Got the scissors right here, so we'll just remove some of these
weaker ones
to give visibility to that trunk. And then do you think these should stay? We can keep them. We can make those decisions later too whenever we put them on the slab itself.
I think we can get rid of them. Absolutely. Oh yeah.
There we go.
That just clears up so much more. And then we'll have another one to add to the collection. To the mix. Great. Grand, wonderful. We're ready to start composing?
I think so.
Cool. So we've got an assortment of rocks and just gonna sort of play around, and I want to get them in between the roots a bit. But should we think about like what the wall will be? Should we start working on that? How does this slab thing work?
Oh yeah, so what we have is we have some muck that we put together. So this is essentially collected mud from like a river area. Got to the center of the dry of the river, like right where it's super muddy and silty. Collected all that, mixed it with water and sphagnum moss, and then just mix that all up. So what we'll do is we'll take some of this like mucky muck, and you can see how it just like kind of forms.
You get that fibrous action from the sphagnum moss.
Exactly. So we'll use this in a couple different manners. We can use it on the bottom of a rock and then stick that as like kind of an adhesive, and then we'll also use it like on the side to create like a retention wall, like so. And essentially what we're going to be doing is building out a wall that encapsulates the boundaries for the slab, and then we'll start adding rock layers to it. So that way some of it is rock and then some of it is like green moss.
Cool. I'm stoked. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah, so it's a pretty muddy process.
I'm down. I get dirty, dude. I get dirty.
Yeah,
so should we determine where we want the tree to go first?
Yeah, tree placement's going to be the most important. We want to make sure we can get as flat as a root there as possible. So cutting everything off the base will help it stick nice and flat.
Quite a protrusion back here that we have to sort out. This guy right here doesn't let it kind of go flat down, and so we have this like big old air gap there.
Yeah, let's remove it then. Hello, dog. So just adhere the stone to the slab with some of that muck, and then just we're building like building a little wall. Add some more to the side of that rock. And I think you want to try to sit that root. Let's see how that works if that can hang out there together.
What do you think? Sit right there.
Perfect.
Okay,
so let's continue to build out more of these like rock slash muck land, like walls.
Mud. Oh boy.
Yeah, it's real slimy. If we remove the tree right quick. Yeah, just set it down over a moment.
We don't need it.
Yeah, we don't need it at this very moment. You can hang out here though.
We're just making a container.
Because we'll want to put some soil on the very bottom, so there's stuff for it to grow down into. Yeah, exactly.
My man.
Give me some of that mud.
How high do we want to go?
To the moon! With the wall. Yeah, just like we're doing it. This is perfect. We'll go as high up as we want to. We're basically trying to create a basin for the soil to go into now. We'll add soil, and then we'll start folding the muck wall over it as we like chopstick the soil in, and then we'll just add more muck to kind of wrap it around and encapsulate it. It doesn't have to be too thick. So yeah, we're going more for like the just the height and the
that'll be for sticking
retention capabilities. I'm just gonna keep adding in little rocks up here at the front. Nice. Sweet. Now let's grab a little bit of soil, and I think we can start to like blend the tree into this now.
Cool. Should I start putting some soil down?
Yeah, we'll layer some soil in. Sorry.
Sorry, I didn't want to miss anything.
Watching the moment. Yeah, just like a little drainage layer. Yeah, you can stick it in like press it into the muck. And the fun thing I think that really is neat about this, like using the muck, is like the roots will grow in to that wall, and it's like they'll be really happy growing in there.
When it gets too far out, it'll prune itself.
Mm-hmm. Let's go a little bit more in this region. Cool. Awesome. That tree in this thing. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, so we'll just basically add more soil and then chopstick it in and add more muck and then like just encapsulate this whole thing.
Okay.
You can feel like it's already starting to
Sitting in there.
starting to become.
Come back.
Don't leave us soil. Yeah, just put a little muck wall right in between that.
finished the muck wall. It was quite a journey. It was so much fun to do all this and learn it. So what's the next step?
Yes, we built a landscape. We got a nice little...
It's a beautiful landscape on its own with just this whole mucky muck going on, but...
rock planting's going on.
It's missing something.
Yeah, like what? Like some like color.
Yeah. So what we have is an assortment of moss. Oh boy, some great stuff. Got some big tall stuff, got some small carpet-like stuff. I see some resurrection fern in there we picked up at the Yamadori spot in Leno. So we just start picking it, and maybe we should focus on the front so we got a good front, and then
this is a great experience putting these things.
Thank you for helping us out.
Absolutely.
Showed us all how you can take just a rock. You don't need to buy yourself a crazy container. You find yourself a rock in the wild, plant something on it. With a little bit of clay, a little bit of sphagnum moss.
Yeah, that was the only thing that we really purchased here was the sphagnum moss and the wire. And then you purchased the tree.
That's right.
But if you're Yamadoriing, then you can get all of these things from your backyard, essentially. Just make sure you have permission if you're doing any digging. Nice little landscape. Turned out really well.
Super happy.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for having us. And, you know, we'll be back next week with more demos, more tours. We are leaving for now. I'm going to try to carry this downstairs. It'll be fun. So, till next time, we got a lot of cleanup to do. Be cool, stay hip, get yourself a hobby. See you next week. Bye.